Hello and welcome to the third episode of the F1 Breakdown podcast. We've just had the Belgium Grand Prix and it was a really good race, but we have to start off with the crash that happened in the first corner, which was absolutely, horrific. The only word you can describe that with. It was a horrible crash. I had my head in my hands as soon as I saw Grosjean go in the air, and when it went past Alonso, I was cringing, sort of like, don't hit his head, don't hit his head. And, that's bring up a lot of controversial things about should we have open cockpit, should we have the closed cockpit. My opinion on that, open cockpit. Formula One is dangerous, yes. You can't take all the danger out of it. I know, yes, they're human beings, they should be safe, they should not die in sport. Sport is not for dying, which I 100% agree with. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, Fernando Alonso should have died. No way, no, I don't want that on anything. But I'm just thinking, Formula One, you have to have an element of danger in it, and I agree with Sir Sterling Moss. They said Formula One is so safe, it's like really safe, if going back in their day, they were risking their lives every lap they were going around the circuit. And that's what made it fun, that's what made people want to watch it, because, these were brave is the only word you can describe them. I was trying to think of another word, but brave is the only word you can, and they're the heroes of the sport, really and truly. Because that was really dangerous, you had no barriers, we had a little show, the old Belgium circuit, that was terrifying, I was looking at pictures and you just don't want to race on that circuit today at that speed of 160 miles per hour. You just don't want to do that. So my opinion on that is open cockpit. Yeah, that is what Formula 1 is about. Closed cockpits and that. It is good. I do understand it. If it went in, it wouldn't disappoint me much. It would kind of disappoint me because the safety element, I think, has gone too strong. It always says on the back of the ticket, motorsport is dangerous. I reckon sooner or later that won't be there anymore. But because it's just going to be really safe. But it is dangerous. But I still prefer the open cockpit because it's just better, and I think it will look better. And then it's like a space shuttle thing going across, and you can't really look at the driver's helmet, covered by the glass thing. And then they're trying to perfect the helmet cam. What's the point of perfecting the helmet cam? You're going to have a big space thing over you. There's just no point. So going back to the Belgium Grand Prix, it was a horrific crash. It's really bad for the Saubers. Kamui Kobayashi, best qualifying ever, second place. Perez, best qualifying fourth. Best qualifying for that team. And then taken out in the first corner. How unlucky is that? You got to have a real bad feeling for them because the amount of money they could have got for the constructors' point, moving them forward that they've lost, And you saw people with Sauber, they were gutted at Sauber. But, Grosjean has been banned for the first race of the season, and we all know that. It was poor from Grosjean, it's happened throughout the season, and, I'm thinking, people are saying, well, Maldonado must be soon. Maldonado hasn't really done anything like that. I think Maldonado, for the thing that he did at Monaco driving into Sergio Perez, I think that could have been handled more seriously, because that is just stupid. Yeah, and I agree. Fernando Alonso said that for the younger formulas that should be stamped out because we watched the younger formula GP3, GP2, and people putting on banzai moves, and you're just like, what the hell are you doing? I remember, I think it was Da Costa at the Valencian Grand Prix going into the hairpin, just stayed down the inside and T-boned one of the drivers. You just don't do that. It's just dangerous. It's just stupid. And I agree with Fernando Alonso. I think throughout the younger formulas, it should be stamped out, the accidents, because they're having far too many accidents, and I have to agree with Alonso on that. But Grosjean has been banned, and I think it's the correct decision. He has apologised. Of course, if you're going to apologise, you have to apologise for something like that, because, he could have killed someone. He could have killed more than one person. It was even Hamilton going into the side of Kamui Kobayashi, that was dangerous by itself. Hamilton, that was dangerous going up. And then people, even Grosjean himself, landing, because he would have landed, because his bum was virtually on the floor of the car. He would have landed and he would have, he flew into the barrier afterwards, and that was a scary crash. And we have a great photo of Romain Grosjean flying through the air. You can see on our photo go, it was a very good photo. Very happy to have that one. So it looked like Jerome D'Ambrosio will obviously take the drive at Monza in next week. I can't believe we've had 5 weeks away from Formula 1. We had one Grand Prix and we got another one around the corner like that. really quickly. But I would love this as a Formula One fan, and seeing Jerome D'Ambrosio come back in the sport. He was a Virgin in 2011. Nothing because he was a special driver at Virgin. He did really well at Virgin. He didn't deserve to become a reserve driver. I felt he could have probably got a drive, maybe at Williams, but Bruno Senna I probably would have thought would have been. But he is a good driver. But the irony in him winning the first race at Monza next week is just, I would love that so much, because the reserve driver for Lotus wins their first race, not the main drivers. That would be one story to tell. I'll be on the newspapers if Jerome D'Ambrosio was to win that race. So I would love that to happen. I would love to know the odds on that. I would put money on that, just because it's, when does that happen? And with the Lotus's car that they got going for Monza, if they get this device working, which could be how many tenths quicker than the other cars, it could be good. And I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. But I'm going to head back to the Belgian Grand Prix that we had. And keep on with Lotus. They disappointed. Now, it wasn't their fault that they didn't put the device that everyone was talking about the week before for the Belgian Grand Prix, because it chucked it down on Friday. And safety aspect, you have to agree, they didn't tune that car. You weren't going to tune that car properly an hour overnight. Not an hour overnight, sorry, an hour in practice 3. Because normally they would have had the overnight aspect to finally tune it from the data that they collected on the Friday. So, you can't really blame them for not putting it on the car. But, Kimi didn't seem to be happy throughout the whole weekend. He was complaining, and, the team told him at the end of the race, push, push, push. He said, how can I push? You've taken the power away. And that's what I found very interesting. That teams can, tamper with the Formula One car mid-race from their computers to slow it down. As a driver, I don't know, I'm not driving myself, but if I was a driver, you kind of be a bit annoyed. You're like, I want to push, I want to get this car. I'm on fresher tyres, buttons on older tyres. How am I gonna get the car in front if I don't have enough power? Whereas the team's like, there's not many laps left. Save the engine, save the car, which you can understand. But then, it's kind of a mixed message push. How can I push if I don't have enough power? Which is kind of true. Then moving on to Red Bull. Red Bull did struggle. Now, don't read into the second place that Sebastian Vettel got, because with the incident that happened at the beginning of the race, I don't think they would have got that. I predicted Vettel to finish 5th. I reckon he probably would have got that position. But no, full marks to Vettel. He was very strong in that Grand Prix. He was excellent. He pulled moves around the outside of the bus stop. I don't know how many times he did it on his teammate. He did it on many drivers. Rosberg, I remember him doing it on many drivers, and he looked strong. He looked like that in that race. He was proving a point. He said, this is why I'm a double world champion. I can race. It was a fantastic race to watch from Sebastian Vettel, and I think he'll be strong despite the car not being strong. I think the car will not be as strong as it was in Spa. I think it'll be worse than it was in Spa. But Vettel will be strong. I reckon he'll have a good race, because that performance, you're not going to have I don't think it's a one-hit wonder. We all know Vettel can have strong race after strong race after strong race. So I reckon he'll have another strong race in Italy next week, in the next coming days now. And then we had Jenson Button winning on his 50th Grand Prix for McLaren. He got his first pole also. It was a great weekend for Jenson Button. And it was a real strong race from start to finish, pole to flag. It was a very good, strong race. And we really haven't seen that from Button this season. He's not had the best season in the world. But I reckon that should do him the world of good, and he will look forward to the Italian Grand Prix and the flyaways that he got. Going on a good performance, And he had the two-stop strategies, people not even catching him. That's how strong he was. And normally with two-stop strategies, we've seen with the fresher tyres just catching the one-stops, as if they weren't there. So, and, he was able to go at pace where the two-stop strategy, people like Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, who had an amazing race, Nico Hulkenberg finishing 4th. Great race for Force India. They really pushed on, they took advantage of that crash that happened in the first corner. Big points, 12 points there for Hulkenberg. Really good race. But going back to Button, fantastic. The fresher tyres, people with didn't even catch him. And we've seen that so many times, that the two-stop strategy catches the one-stop strategy. But Button, was at pace and controlled that race superbly. Fantastic race. So looking ahead then to the Monza, Italian Grand Prix. Red Bull will struggle again. I can't see him being quick. Mark Webber said himself. He said that the car's nowhere on the straights, 21st in the speed traps. Speed is not their friend. They are not quick. They don't have a quick car. They have a quick car in the corner. That's why they're so good, because they can go through the corners like no other car. Adrian Newey likes the corners, but then sacrifices the straight lines. I think all teams will obviously have their lower downforce package because it's a straight. It's a virtually, there's hardly any corners. You've got the Curve de Grande, which is not really a corner, it's just flat straight. 2 chicanes, really got the 2 Lesmos, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. You've got the Ascari chicane and Parabolica. And most of those corners, the Lesmos, the Ascari chicane, Parabolica, are taken at very high speeds. Downforce, I think Red Bull liked that section, but long straight down to the first corner, the 2 long back straights before and after the Ascari chicane. It's just that is not going to be their friend at all, and we saw it in the DRS zones. Mercedes, Michael Schumacher was having great fun. Even with his worn tyres, he was going past the Renault engines because he was battling the Lotus of Kimi Räikkönen. It's the same engine, but he was going past them for fun. So, Renault engine in that car is not really producing the goods that I think Red Bull would like. Lotus, well, if the device is up there, they should be quick. There's no doubt, no question really. They have to be quick. That's what I'm hoping. Jerome D'Ambrosio, maybe if he could get podium, that'd be so good. I reckon he'll get his first points of the season. Well, in his first race would be really good. I reckon Raikkonen, Raikkonen has to be up there. The device is just, all of it's been said, all the hype that they've said, it's just, you've got to do it now. This is their chance, and well, Monza is going to be not as effective as any of the flyaway races that we're going to go on. This is the race where, if they're going to win and make it work, this is the race where they have to do it. And, there's no better opportunity. Ferrari, I reckon, will be strong. I can't remember an Italian Grand Prix on Ferrari on home soil where a Ferrari was not strong. Even, the atmosphere, the tifosi will be there, the Ferrari flags will be waving, that's all we'll be seeing this weekend. And Ferrari will be strong, they'll be there. If they're not, then and I don't think the Ferrari fans will be very happy. They've made the trip to Monza, but I can't remember the Italian Grand Prix where Ferrari was not on the podium or did not have a strong race. Like picked up high points. So that is really pretty much the Italian Grand Prix. I think it'll be a really interesting Grand Prix. The Lotuses should be there. Red Bull, I think, will struggle again. McLaren should be quick because the low downforce on Jensen Button. Lewis Hamilton didn't have the low downforce. He had a higher downforce setting for Spa, but Button was quick in the low downforce. So no reason why Button can't be that quick again. So looking forward to the Italian Grand Prix. My predictions, I've got my predictions here. I'll say Jerome D'Ambrosio win, but I don't think that will happen. We've had drivers that have come into the sport as a replacement that have not done well. Going back, Luca Badoa, I'm just forget his name, for Ferrari in 2009, who replaced Felipe Massa after his crash in Budapest. He was nowhere, and he was a Ferrari test driver. Then they brought in Giancarlo Fisichella, and he came off the second place in Spa in 2009 and was nowhere for the rest of the season in the Ferrari car. And the Ferrari car probably was bad, but 2010, I know, when Liuzzi came in, Liuzzi seemed to have a very good race and a very good comeback. So Jerome D'Ambrosio did what Antonio Liuzzi did for Force India, then I reckon Jerome will do well and definitely pick up his first points of the season. So, well, I'm going to go for Kimi Räikkönen to win. Kimi Räikkönen's been in that car more than D'Ambrosio, really and truly. So, Räikkönen to win. But if D'Ambrosio was to win, then, yeah. Lewis Hamilton to finish second. Fernando Alonso to finish third. Fourth, Sebastian Vettel. And fifth, Jensen Button. Lewis Hamilton, I think, will be quick. He's very aggressive. I think he'll really will work that car hard. Button, fifth, he might say, well, he's coming off a really good result. You might get better performance. Yes, but I reckon Button is a fantastic driver. No questions asked. Button is fantastic, but I reckon Ferrari on home soil, Alonso will be pushing extra harder. Vettel seems to be on very strong form, very strong in a car that's not really up to it in that sort of circuit. So I reckon Vettel will just, I think it'll be close, but depending on strategy, depending how, Jensen's always complaining of understeer, depending how much it gets through there. If he gets it through Ascari and Parabolic, he won't be very happy with understeer through there. Because, you've got gravel traps. I hope they haven't, put runoff area, keep it at gravel, and, there will be some punishment, which could be good to see. Because we haven't seen much punishment, because we've seen a lot of people, going out wide onto tarmac runoffs. But, Monza is a good old-fashioned track with most of it still gravel, which is good to see. And the harder corners like Ascari and Parabolica. I hope I don't turn up and see that it's all runoff, and you're like, no. But yeah, that's my predictions for the Grand Prix. Let's go running down quickly again. Raikkonen first, Hamilton second, Alonso third, Vettel fourth, Button fifth. Yeah, so that's really it then for this podcast. We're looking forward to the Italian Grand Prix. You can obviously subscribe to us on YouTube. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Join the forum, put your predictions down there. We've only got a small number of people on our forum, but if you join, somebody else might join, and then we get more predictions down. And then, if somebody gets it right, I'll be really shocked, because, my predictions for the Belgian Grand Prix were ruined by the first corner. And I had no idea Button was going to be first, and qualifying was sort of ruined by qualifying as well. So, predictions are there, and then you look back at them and you just laugh, thinking, oh God, how I was wrong. But yeah, that is really it for this podcast. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. On Twitter sometimes, you can get practice coverage. I just put a few tweets on what's going on if you're away from there. You want to keep up, you don't want to wait till you get home to watch it. You want to find out what's happening now. So, I can put a few tweets up there telling you who's fastest, what's happening, and so forth. Yeah, news stories that I put on Facebook and my blogs, we put on Facebook, so you can like us there and subscribe to us on YouTube. So that's it. See you soon.